Hello world, welcome to the 178th climate change emergency protest here in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. It is May 6, 2022. It is yucky out and it's raining. We're supposed to get 3.5 inches over the next day of rain, which I'm not complaining because much of the world is in extreme drought. Next week will be May 13th. That'll be the 179th climate change emergency protest, and that'll be on location either in Gettysburg or on the battlefield somewhere. The chickens are crowing if you hear weird sounds. So right now India's been in a heat wave. It's been severe in India. Much of the country has been exposed to 50 degrees Celsius, 122 degrees Fahrenheit in temperature. The average has been somewhere around 104 degrees to 115 degrees. It's a pure hellscape. The weird fact is that 2 inches off the ground, the temperature has been 125 to 136 degrees. Now people have said, oh, that's just surface temperature. Yeah, that's where you grow your plants. So their wheat crop and different crops are going to be in jeopardy if this continues. It's been going on for 2 weeks. The USA knows nothing of this. It has not been reported, not one blip, no, not one anything by any politician, by any media organization. So it's unbelievable that USA politicians that proclaim certain things and media proclaim certain things, and they say they're going to report the news, but they don't do that. The question is this racism at the very least, or is this some sort of sinister sickness, making it a political issue and refusing to touch what's happening in the world? People watch these mass media in the United States and it says world news tonight, and it's not. It's local news. When you report about celebrities and things like that, and people need to be aware of this. They need to wake up and realize what is going on. They're deliberately dumbing you down, and Americans are the biggest idiots on the planet right now. They can change, but they're refusing to engage, and they're sleepwalking their way into extinction, as is the rest of the world. So India is us. India is the world. Right now you're seeing poverty at places, and the people that are extreme poverty have trouble staying cool because they don't have the resources to have electricity and run air conditioners and things like that, so they're having to sleep under trees. Well, good luck sleeping under a tree when it's 122 degrees out. So, and even at night it's above 100. So your body hits that wet bulb temperature where you can't cool down. And my guess is the truth is not being told about how many people are actually dying in India as a result of this heat. Also, with poverty of undrinkable water. People don't have access to clean water around the world as well as India when this is going on. You also end up in a drought situation where the water just absolutely dries up, so wells go dry and things like that. India's us as far as the world goes too, because it's a women's issue. If you have government breakdown, if this persists, you're going to have situations where women are going to start being abused. And women around here are all upset about abortion and stuff. And in reality, they need to get their heads somewhere else and start focusing on the world as well. You have certain issues going on in the United States that are horrible, that are rights being taken away. But you have a situation developing around the world where women are in extreme danger from climate change. People don't think about that, but when there's government breakdown, men tend to go a little crazy when they know they're not going to be prosecuted. So is it a case of racism? India is us and the world. Brown people. India is populated by brown people for the most part, and also different religions, but brown people is the big thing. And, around the world, and especially in the United States, Black Lives Matter. People have their signs out in their yard, and they have Black Lives Matter. But when it comes down to the reality of it all, Africa, India, Asia, main part of Asia, India is part of Asia. But, people don't engage. South America, things like that. And they act like Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. Well, don't brown lives matter? People of color, don't they matter? So this is virtue signaling. Politicians, there's a famous photo of a certain political group taking a knee in the Capitol during the Black Lives Matter movement. They took a knee, got up, and went about their way making money for themselves. They didn't do any legislations for Black Lives Matter. As I said, people with signs in the yard. Are you real? Are you for real? I mean, does it really matter, Black Lives Matter, or is it some sort of virtue signaling to your neighbors that you're cool, you got it, you're hip, you're going on, you're woke? Ice Cube during the election, he's a rapper in the United States, said that, once this election's over, now what? What are you going to do for us? And the answer is nothing. He called it straight up right on. before the election even was over. And he said, now what? This group's in charge, the next group's in charge, now what? People are left behind. So that was Ice Cube the rapper. Check it out on YouTube. So climate change in India is us. There's denialism, straight up overt denialism. You're seeing that in the main politicians. I know people love their politicians and everything, but you're seeing in India where they're importing more and more coal to keep generating electricity. And you're seeing in the United States where we're cranking out more and more oil and natural gas to help Ukraine. But that's BS. It's to help themselves and make more money. You know, we're cranking out more oil and doing all these policies, and yet the price of gas keeps going up. So this is a money-making adventure for everyone. And, you know, there's no desire to get off of fossil fuels at all. And people are sleepwalking their way into extinction. So there's overt denialism. That's a thing where basically they're saying it doesn't exist. You know, it's a total thing. But then you have de facto denialism, and that's real huge in the United States. You got these virtue signaling people. Oh, climate change is huge. It's an existential threat, as they said during the election. It's an existential threat. And no action's being taken. In fact, we're going the opposite direction from taking action. So no politicians are talking about climate change. This should be an hourly, daily occurrence. This should not be talk about it once in a while, or show a news article of a tornado or a flood somewhere. That is not talking about climate change. People don't understand what's going on with climate change. We're so close to the edge, so close to pushing over the edge, and my thinking is we've already gone over the edge. We just are in free fall right now and haven't made contact with the ground. But, you know, let's keep going on the way we're going. So there's no action being taken. There's de facto denialism. So no talking, no reporting by the media, you know about coronavirus, you know about what's happening in Ukraine. People have not a clue what's happening with climate change. So there's no action being taken, no legislation worldwide, and especially here in the United States. There's no government plan anywhere to get us out of this situation. They'll mouth it, they'll talk about it, but they continue on their way. So India's us. You got a heat issue, you got food issue, you got water issue, you got floods. It is a worldwide issue. You're having this happen in South America, Africa, Europe, and Asia, all around the world. The only place it's not really happening is because there's no people there is Antarctica, and yet they had temperatures 70 degrees Celsius above their normal back in March. So things are spinning way out of control, and there's no action being taken. There is no plan. There is no experts talking about it. There's only plans to expand fossil fuels. Take a look around. That's what's going on. When they say net zero, that means net bullshit. This is virtue signaling all around, just like signs in the yard, Black Lives Matter, virtue signaling about climate change. There's no plan, no action being taken. So what happens around the world? Democracy fails when a population fails to take action and cedes their rights to the politicians. I'll vote for them. I'll let them go. And they'll do the right thing. They'll get to it. They're not getting to it. We're failing quickly here as a world, and as far as climate change goes, and as far as democracy goes in itself. Democracy fails when a public refuses to engage and make their politicians hear their voices. Get on the street, protest, do broadcasts, do articles, say your piece, talk to friends, and quit avoiding this like it's some sort of plague. You know, so what happens with virtue signaling is it's an example. This is a good example of virtue signaling, and I have a microphone. Hopefully it's working. This is called virtue signaling. I'm in the mud. I'm going to take a knee, and you know what happens in the mud? Right now I'm virtue signaling that something is actually happening, and nothing is. These are politicians going, oh, I care about you. I care so much about you. Meanwhile, what's happened with the population, it actually is the knee in the mud. They're just getting dirty, and they're not going to get out of it. Climate change is not going to end, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse. It's not going to get better, and we're going to die a horrible death, and this is what's coming. This is tough love here coming your way. But you've got to wake up and actually start doing something and start engaging. I don't know how many, I'm up to 178 of these things, and nothing's happening. Nobody cares. Nobody knows what's going on. I can't talk to anybody, and nobody gives two rat's asses about what's happening. So, you know, it's extremely frustrating. You people are smarter than this worldwide. Please pass this on. And tell them that you're smarter than this, you're better than this. You can't die quietly and go into the night, I can't do anything about it. You can. You got a voice, you got a mouth, you got what's going on, you got a body. Start making your actions count. You know, now what, as Ice Cube said, now what? You know what now what is? They're going to make money, we're going to die. So wake up, smell the shit, and get to it. Sorry. I'm not really sorry, though. Take care. Catch you next week. Little intense.